The reading program that my school district uses is Reading Street by Scott Forsman, published 2011. There are 4 characteristics that the brain has to learn to develop reading: alphabet, phonemic awareness, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. There are 3 neural systems required to work together in order for the cerebral process to learn to read. First, alphabet. Associating letters with sounds is called phonics. Letters of the alphabet represent phonemes such as cat, can, car. Notice the last letters in each word is being changed. The visual process begins with the eye scanning the letters of the printed word. For instance, C, A, T. The visual signals then travel to the visual cortex positioned in the occipital lobes at the back of the brain. Next, the phonemic awareness is the ability to hear and manipulate individual phonemes. In the left hemisphere of the brain, in the angular gyrus, word signals are being decoded. An example would be the k, at, cat, an, ran, down, the, street. The cat ran down the street. The is a sight word that needs to be repeated often and memorized. Reading Street directs the teacher to provide explicit instruction for sound spellings and word parts. We introduce their letter sounds in isolation, then move to recognizing sounds, to blending sounds, to decode words. First, I display the word, and then I segment each word by putting my finger underneath each letter and saying the sound. Then I blend the words by moving my hand from the left to the right, and I say the sound sequentially with no pause between the letter sounds. Then I read the word, pronouncing it normally. I have the students repeat the blending process first with me and then as a group. Second is fluency. Fluency is having a consistent rhythm. After the word indications have reached the angular gyrus, it triggers the language areas of the brain found in the left hemisphere close to the temporal lobe. This is where audio processing begins. The system sounds out the phonemes in their head. There are 2 ways to develop fluency. First is to model key fluency skills. I would demonstrate how to read with accuracy, appropriate pace, and attention, and I would pay attention to punctuation and expressions. Then the students would engage in repeated oral reading. I monitor them and provide guidance and feedback. Third is vocabulary, which correlates with comprehension. As a teacher, I teach directly and indirectly. The students see these words and use them throughout the week. First, I teach the important selection words prior to reading, and I link them to the students' reading. I encourage them to use these words, talk about it, write about it. Then I emphasize and model using the academic language. I use graphic organizers. I use word learning strategies, and I use semantic webs. There's a wide variety of texts that I try to offer the students so that their vocabulary can grow. The 4th priority skill is comprehension. Comprehension is a method that starts with identifying words by using knowledge outside the passage, retrieving a meaning in the context, identifying grammatical structures, and depicting inferences and making sure the text makes sense. So what I do is direct explicit teaching. Students have to be taught the skill or strategy as well as when and how to use it during the reading. I teach modeling and I demonstrate. I do think alouds and comprehension skills and strategies. They have guided comprehension practice. I model the skills. We do it together. They do it. Then there's frequent application of the skill and strategy. We do this in small groups where I can guide and show the students application skills and provide feedback. Then I monitor their progress. The auditory processing area supplies information about the word from the mental storage, and the frontal lobe incorporates all the information to offer meaning. For example, a cat meows. I have taught many lessons with this program, but unfortunately it is not at a Common Core rigor, so the district let us use Performance Coach, and we could integrate Reading Street in where it was Common Core applicable. Due to finances, we are keeping Reading Street and upgrading the Common Core rigor now provided. I believe Reading Street follows the teaching that is required for the brain to learn how to develop reading.